The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media.
Welcome to Hearts of Gold. Today we have Annie with us. Hi, Annie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Can you tell us about your Girl Scout Gold Award project?
I focused my Girl Scout Gold Award project, South Florida Pet Safety, on the issue that there is so many people who lack the knowledge of how to keep their pet safe, especially in my specific area. So up to 30% of animal deaths are either preventable or due to accidental causes that pet owners can totally prevent from happening. And I really wanted to spread the knowledge and make people aware of how they can do that for their pets. So I focused on creating a campaign, and a big part of that campaign was writing a pet safety book. And what makes this project unique and not generic, because I'm sure you can find many resources of how to keep your pet safe online, is that I made it very specific to my area. So South Florida is a very transient community. There's a lot of people coming down here for vacation, or just people coming for retirement, or just living here for a few years. And that makes it very dangerous for their pets because we have so many unique dangers like alligators or extreme heat that people don't know about. So I created this pet safety book, and it has 4 main sections. So I have heat dangers, wildlife, plants, and then natural disasters, where I talked about things like hurricanes and drownings. So this book, I was able to raise money for printing by doing sponsorships. So I reached out to my family and my friends in the community, and I did this thing where it was if you donate $25, that sponsors the printing of 10 books and you get a book for free. So that was a way that I overcame that obstacle of raising enough money to actually get the physical books. And I ended up being able to print 500 copies, which was 5 times the amount I originally intended. So that was amazing. And I got to distribute them at the Humane Society. And so they went out with each adoption. And once those copies ran out, they passed out QR codes, and those go in the packet that are distributed to each adoption. And that just leads to the digital book, a free PDF of my pet safety book. Another thing that I did was I created a pre-vet club at my school. So another issue that I wanted to address with my project, not only pet safety, but also the national shortage of veterinarians that we have. And this is because there's so little vet schools. There's only 32 in the entire nation compared to almost 200 just human medicine schools. So that's a big issue, especially because the number of pets are rising because of COVID. A lot of people got pets, and then it's just the same amount of veterinarians. So it's a big toll, and I wanted to create this club to encourage people to explore that opportunity and that vocation, and that's been going really well. We recruit guest speakers, so I had the vet that I work at in the Humane Society clinic, and she came in and she talked to my club members about what she does and how she became a vet and her schooling. And then we also do community service, so that's really awesome. We do dog washes, and we raise money for hurricane relief for animals, and that was really nice as well. And then I had a lot of different aspects to my campaign, which honestly I was not expecting to go this far out. But I also did educational workshops. So I reached out to my Girl Scout community, and I was really surprised by the amount of people who were willing to have me come speak to them and their girls about pet safety. I also taught some animal badges, so the junior animal helper badge and the brownie pets badge, and then I incorporated my book into those workshops, so that was really cool. And I also taught some at my lower school. So I worked with the lower school principal, and they had me come into the environmental education classes and teach them about pet safety. So that was super fun getting to work with the little kids. And then one of the last things that I did was create my Instagram account. So that's just like a pet safety tip, like reminder thing, like for people to just follow. And then it shows up on my story, like, oh, for 4th of July, here's some fireworks safety for your pets and like things like that. So that's been super fun to keep up as well. The last thing was getting community partners. So since I have a digital book, it's really easy to for me to go out and ask, for example, like Pet Wants, like their managers, like, hey, can I put up a flyer of my digital book? And then people can download that for free, and it's just in an area easily accessible. So also like pet-friendly hotels, like I did it there as well. And that's a really cool way that people can access my projects.
For those who may not know, the average project is about 80 hours. How many hours did you put in?
I think it was near 200 hours.
For others that may be considering the Gold Award, when they listen to you and all the things that you did, what inspired your project to start with? And then you talked a little bit about the little pieces that inspired those different activities that you added on. But why did you really feel like all of those pieces were necessary for your project?
That's a good question. So I actually really want to become a veterinarian, if you couldn't guess. I really love animals. I really love science. So I want like my school's pre-med track, and I really hope that I can become one in the future. So I'm really passionate about like advocating for animals because they don't have a voice. And yeah, it's just a big issue down here. And I was also inspired by like once I knew that I wanted to become a vet, I kind of like focused some of my activities on it. So like my science fair projects, for example, in middle school, I did one about like hot cars. It wasn't for animals, but I did like hand sanitizer and hot cars. But that really opened me up to like then putting hot cars in my pet safety book and like realizing the dangers of that. And then my freshman year science fair project was about bufo toads. So if you don't know, bufo toads are like extremely poisonous toads that we have in South Florida and like the lower states. And they're an invasive species, and they're really deadly to especially little dogs. So I did research on that, which inspired me to then include it into my pet safety book. And it's like about how to prevent it and how to treat. So yeah, those are some things that inspired my projects.
Super interesting. It's always very clear when a Girl Scout has picked a project that's super meaningful to themselves because they just flourish while they're doing the project. How do you feel that this project is going to impact you in your future, especially since you want to go to vet school?
Yeah, I really, really think that doing this project has helped me. Like, it's given me a huge push along this journey. I've made so many connections because I've worked with like multiple vets, like through my club, through the guest speakers. I've met, like for example, Dr. Bellows. He came to my pre-vet club to talk to my members, and he's like a super renowned dental veterinarian. So that was really cool getting to make that connection. And then actually through this project, my expert advisor, Miss Darlene Feldman, she works as the director of education at the Humane Society of Broward County. And I knew her because I had volunteered there since like 2020, and she knew me and she helped me with this project. And she actually helped me make a connection so that I could get a position in the surgical clinic. So I get to work in the surgical clinic now, and that was supposed to be for someone who's like 18 years or older. But because they knew me like through this project, I was able to get that position, and that's been so rewarding. I get to watch their surgeries. I get to like wrap the surgical packs. It's a really cool experience for me. And just like not even as a vet, just like as a person, I feel like I've really grown. Just because like all the leadership it took through each step of this journey, like the workshops, writing the book, working with all those different people to create the book. And like, it's just really taught me about like collaboration. And I feel like I've really grown as a person through this because it was a long process. It was like 3-4 years that I spent on this. And yeah, it was really rewarding.
Can you talk a little bit more about how you made some of those connections and contacts with people that you otherwise wouldn't have made to help other Girl Scouts think about how, when they're working on their projects, they can talk with different people, or how they can make those connections to get to the people that they'd really, really like to have part of their project?
One of the things that I did that you don't necessarily need like a prior connection to do, I just reached out to my service unit, and everyone was so willing to help because everyone's so supportive of Girl Scouts trying to get their gold award. And they were the ones, some of them sponsored the printing of my book. A lot of them were like, oh, like my brownies would love to have a pets badge taught. And they were just really supportive. So that was a great way for me to get support and those connections. And so many of those people have other connections that they were so willing to offer. And that was really nice about the Girl Scout community. And then I was also lucky because I chose to do something related to what I was already involved in. So like I had those connections from the Humane Society that were so helpful, and I had those connections from the other vets. So definitely looking into something you're already like surrounded by, that was extremely helpful to me throughout the process.
What was the book writing process like for you?
That was something that I could do on my own time. So it was very like self-disciplined. I did it over a summer, and I said I was going to get it done that summer, and I just drafted it. And then I actually had Dr. Rogers, who works at the Humane Society. She reviewed it, and she gave me tips on like what to add. And yeah, I actually reached out to a graphic designer, and she helped me design my book, which was really helpful. And I also reached out to a publisher who happens to be my aunt. So that was a really helpful connection. And she gave me advice on like how to write the book, what to include on the back, and like tips such as that. And yeah, the book writing itself didn't take that much time. It was more like what came after that.
You mentioned some of your team members as you talked about your book. Who else was on your team, and how did they help you?
I had the multiple vets, so Dr. Rogers and Dr. Dayton, they both work at the Humane Society Clinic, and I knew them through Ms. Feldman, who was my expert advisor, and they were the ones who, Dr. Roger was the one who reviewed my book, so that was super helpful, getting that credibility, so people actually knew that my book had the right information, and it was like worth checking out. And then Dr. Dayton came to my club, as I said, and she spoke to my club members, which is super helpful. Dr. Bellows also did that as well. And then I also had a lot of community partners, like I said, so like Pet Supermarket and places like hotels that allowed me to put up my poster. And I just had to go out into the community, like I walked into their store and asked them, would this be okay? And then I also had a few vet offices where I put that up. So Dr. Casper, he allowed me to put up my flyer at their animal hospital. So that was also very helpful. And then I'm very appreciative to my club advisor, Ms. Abramoff. She helped me create the Pre-Vet Club because it's a long process at my school to create a club. We have to be very resilient, but she helps that happen for me. And then just all those people who made those workshops happen. So like all the people from the service unit, Miss Johnson, the lower school principal, who let me work with those lower school kids. And then of course the graphic designer, Miss Juliet, the published author, Miss Christie, and then my Gold Award advisor, Mr. Vitakis. So yeah, those were all people part of my team.
What was your biggest challenge, and how did you overcome it?
Creating a way to get money to print my books, because that was definitely an obstacle, like within the Gold Award guidelines, how I would figure that out. And I just turned to my community. So like the service unit, friends and family, and I had to make these flyers and I sent them out. I made the deal like $25. You print 10 books, you get one. And yeah, it ended up working out really well. Another obstacle was definitely like making sure my project was sustainable, because I know that's a hard thing for a lot of people trying to get their Gold Award, Silver Award, like any of those. And I decided to, of course, make things digital. So I have my digital PDF, not just like the 500 copies that would be sitting in someone's home, and putting those around the community. and then my Instagram account, which is like still running, and then also my pre-vet club, because it'll be taken over by people when I leave, and that's just going to be a lasting impact at my school. So that's really cool.
What's a special memory from your project?
What I really loved about the workshops was like the feedback that the kids would give me, especially at the lower schools. Like I remember some people, because I had them fill out surveys for like my measurable impact. And I remember like they would write like best presentation ever. And they would tell me like, this is so helpful. Like I'm going to tell my parents about bufo toads, and this just helped me so much. And now I know how to help my animal. And like, this is truly what happened. And it was just so rewarding. And I loved hearing that feedback, especially from young people like them.
What other Girl Scout experiences have you had?
So I've been a Girl Scout since I was 5, since I was allowed to be. Maybe I was 4 even. But I've grown up in a very supportive troop. So we've done a lot of high awards projects together. Like I remember I did my bronze award with my Girl Scout troop. And we go on annual camping trips. And we do a lot of service as well. So like we go to the nursing homes around Christmas time, and we like do performances. A lot of our troop members do like a dance, or I play piano, and it's a really nice experience. We also have like other service traditions. So like we pack boxes for Operation Christmas Child. I've been in Girl Scouts for more than 10 years now, so it's really cool being able to like get to this point. I've had a lot of amazing experiences.
What do you think kept your troop so strong that you were able to stay together through high school?
Turning to like these higher achievements and like focusing more on the community aspect. I know it's hard to like lose focus in Girl Scouts and like lose like the cookie selling and maybe some of the camping, and that's happened because it's hard with scheduling once you get to high school. But definitely focusing more on like these individual jobs. We also created like officer positions in our troop to make everyone stay active. We only have monthly meetings, so it's like it's more like realistic for everybody to show up. And yeah, a lot of us have been here since we were really young, so it's just like a connection that we still have. And then of course, like great organization from our leaders, and who still organize like award ceremonies and nice things like that.
You have earned some other awards, and some of those are, I like to say, complementary to your Girl Scout work, because a lot of people, say, well, there's double dipping and you can't use your Girl Scout work for other things. But a lot of things that you've done are complementary to Girl Scouts. Can you tell us about some of those awards and recognitions that you've earned?
Yes, so a really cool one that I got recently was Girl Scout of the Year, and that was awesome. I turned in like a resume of all the things I've done throughout the years in Girl Scouts, and of course they looked at my gold award, I'm sure, and that was a really cool recognition to get. Another one was the Barbara Ann Turner Service from the Heart Award that I got just recently. I wasn't able to make it to the gold award ceremony, so they surprised me with it like a few weeks later, and it was amazing. And that's a scholarship where it's like for a student who has a lot of service hours at one specific organization. And I thought I would fall right into that since I spent a lot of my time at the Humane Society. And yeah, I talked about my Girl Scout experience and my experience volunteering there, and I'm really, really lucky to have gotten that scholarship.
And you've also, over many years, earned the Presidential Volunteer Service Award. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so I've gotten that award 6 years in a row now, which is crazy. Honestly, most of my service hours are from Girl Scouts. It's such a great way to give back to community. It's so easy through this organization.
So you've talked about that you eventually want to be a vet. What do you see in your future?
Go to college when I graduate, major in biology or animal science. I really love science. And then I really want to either become like a vet tech, in the soon future, but definitely being a veterinarian is my calling, and I really want to make that happen.
Well, Girl Scout scholarships will help with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else would you like to share with our audience?
If you are thinking about doing a gold award, definitely do it. It might be really hard at first. It might seem like you're never going to finish, but like you can do it. You can push through. Like it is hard, but it's not impossible. Like so many people have done it and you can too. And it's so worth it. Like even if it seems like impossible, like it's so worth it at the end. Like all the experiences that you got, like it's really going to help you grow as a person. And it feels really good to have finished and to have given back to your community in like such a great way.
How do you make your s'mores?
With normal like honey graham crackers, and then I toast a normal marshmallow, usually 2 at a time, over a campfire. And then I wait till they're like light golden brown on the outside. I take them off, I put it on the graham cracker, and then I put a square of chocolate, and that's it. I put the other graham cracker on top.
It's the best way.
It is.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure to click follow or subscribe so you always know when new episodes are released. Power your passion and conquer your challenges.
Thank you for listening. If you'd like to be on the show to share your story of how you earned your Gold Award, reach out and send an email to growandsshare@outlook.com. Be sure to catch up on our previous shows on any of your favorite podcasting platforms, as well as view the full video versions at youtube.com/Cheryl M. Robinson. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.